Ill Battle Report. What's good everyone, Memento Beats here, and this is the 10th episode of Ill Battle Report. As promised, I'm going to do Q&A session today, so the structure of today's episode will look as follows. I'm going to review battles that were finished last week, and then at the end there will be time for questions and answers. I don't want to prolong it, so let's move straight to the battles. Last week we had two beat fights finished. It was beat fight number 29 and 37. Besides, we had main event, which was Beat This contest with sample flip theme. I'm going to start from beat fight number 37, which was quite of a surprise to me, as Too Good Productions was demolished by Sway Boogie. 100% of votes went to Sway Boogie, and here we have his winning beat. Congrats to you on the win, especially over one of the top dogs here. I love the sound of drums here, pretty raw old school drums, steady rhythm, I like that when kick appears. In my opinion, it fits perfectly to the rest of the beat. Overall, this production is cool. Sway Boogie is also another producer who creates great old school style instrumentals, and I like them a lot, I have to say that. Keep doing your thing, and again, congrats on the win. Beat fight number 29 was between Can't Keep Still and Pyramidal, and I think it has been the first time I saw Pyramidal in beat battle here. He won with a very small advantage over Can't Keep Still, and I'm not surprised in this case, as both beats were pretty much on the similar level. It was not something I would necessarily like to hear, to be honest. Nevertheless, let's take a listen to some snippet from Beat by Pyramidal titled Anathema. Congrats to you on the win. Things that I liked here was definitely that phrase on organs at the beginning. It enters the listener in quite gloomy, dark, nocturnal mood. It works very well, and I really enjoyed the sound of it. We have nice kick, nice clap, but it sounds a little bit offbeat. Like, the rhythm on drums was a real turn off for me. Everything started nice, but that clap hit with some sort of delay. It was it created a feeling of irregularity. It wasn't something I wanted to hear. Sound-wise, this beat is cool. However, the arrangement of drums is not up to my taste. But keep going, keep doing the thing, and congrats to you on the win. As I mentioned before, last week we had Beat This contest with sample flip theme, and this edition of Beat This was very interesting one. In the rules it was written you can have vocals all throughout your beat if you wish to, movie talking, scratching, rapper vocals, etc. It's something very unusual, as most of the time any use of vocals is strictly punished by voters. And most of the time, it is forbidden to have vocals in your beats when you participate in beat battles on IllMuzik. This time was different. Vocals were allowed, however, not everybody decided to include them in their beats. Actually, a few people did that, but I'm not sure whether they didn't read the rules or they didn't want to use vocals in their beats. It can be harsh what I'm saying right now, but the fact that I talk about not reading rules could be seen in the comment section under that battle, because a few people asked why beats contain vocals. So, I think it's a common issue that people do not read the rules nor pay attention to what's happening in the comment section on the forum, because a lot of people were discussing this move. Battle was won by Sample Flip and Monster, the MF Riddler. As per your request, I'm not going to say even a single word about your beat. Next we had the Sire Beats again. On the second place, next was a new member of IllMuzik, Focus Kind. On the 4th place we had Too Good Productions and Sway Boogie on the 5th place. There were 27 submissions in total, and I have to say that this Beat This was very even when it comes to the level of submissions. Often in Beat This it is very clear who will win the contest, and most of the time the level of win and beat really stands out above others. This time was different. As I said, the level was close. I have to say that I don't like sample flip themes on Beat This, because it's very tiring to go through all submissions. Like, you know, you hear pretty much the same phrase over and over and over and over again. And personally, I'm going nuts, really, when I have to do it. Literally, I prefer contests where there is a theme but it requires, let's say, use of certain instruments, or the beat must be kept in certain mood or genre, something like that. But sample flipping, this is not my cup of tea. I appreciate if someone makes sample beats with good quality, but personally I don't like contests based specifically on some sample flips, especially considering the fact that not so long ago we had Beat This with Super Mario sample flip. It was about 2 weeks ago, and apart from that there is a special section on IllMuzik specifically designed for sample flipping. So for me it's too much. Like the second battle with sample flip theme in 2 weeks period, it's something too much for me. So yeah. And due to this fact, there were only a few beats that I picked this week. And what makes me happy, what makes me happy is the fact that there was a lot of new members, and I love it. Like, I noticed a very sad thing. When I looked at previous episodes of Battle Report, I was talking pretty much about the same guys over and over again. Like, these beats, Too Good Productions, Arvin Armani, Desire Beats. These beats, Too Good Productions, Arvin Armani, Desire Beats. And you know, it was happening because there was almost no one new, and only them, and they only presented beats that were worth like distinguishment. The same guys were winning battles, the same guys had beats that deserved to be distinguished, but it was getting incredibly boring. This is one thing I'm quite concerned about when it comes to this podcast, the fact that I have to talk only about the same people every time and giving them the same feedback, because let's face it, I'm not gonna hear nothing new from Too Good Productions, because I know him. I know his style, I worked with him, and he makes great music, but it's very hard for him to surprise me. And it's hard for me to review his beats, because basically I have to repeat myself all the time. The same thing goes with these beats, and as his style is also evident to me, and most of the time with other, let's call it regulars, let's put it in quotation, regulars as far as Battle Report is concerned. It is very strenuous, because what can you say about another beat from the same guy? It's like I was saying, mix is great, drums are on point, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. It's ridiculous, really. I'm really glad to see new faces here, and even though you haven't won this contest, don't worry, there are a lot of battles here, and especially this one was very, very even. So the first guy I wanted to distinguish, and the one that absolutely nailed it, was a beat titled I Can't Breathe by Yanfer. Second time in a row, Yanfer created something that truly moved me, that pulled some string inside me. I have to say that the fact that he used that phrase by George Floyd, saying I can't breathe, was incredibly touching for me. It was strong, man. It was really heavy. First of all, this topic is hot off the press, everybody's talking about it, and secondly, it is about a very serious issue with abuse of power by the police. I don't want to go too much into politics, because first of all, I don't like situations in which music or anything associated with art in general is about politics. And secondly, politics as well as religion is a very controversial thing, and very personal one. In my opinion, art should be detached from politics and religion, but especially from politics, and it shouldn't be used as some form, as any form of political agitation or political journalism. However, in this case, I have to admit that the atrocity of American policemen was something that really made me angry and really moved me. So here I would like to stop my talk about politics because I reckon I already spent too much time on it, but I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the beat by Yanfer. It was truly creative thing to use the sample of Mr. George Floyd's voice. Again, as I said, it was a very heavy move, and technically this beat is also great. Like, arrangement is great, beat is mixed well. Overall, there is nothing more I can say about it. It's a really good thing and a very important one. Like, you know, sometimes when I prepare ill battle reports, I struggle to find something I can hook on. Like, there are times when I literally have to sit for a significant amount of time to compose something constructive about beats. I'm talking about in reports. Sometimes it's hard to think to do because, you know, when you listen to something and doesn't move you, it's something normal. You know, if it doesn't move you in an emotional way, like, you know, you don't go, oh my god, that's the spirit, man, this is something I was looking for. If you don't have such thoughts in your mind when you listen to something, it's very hard to review it. I will always try to help people develop themselves, but, you know, someone said that the worst thing that can happen to an artist is a situation when they create some piece of work and people are non-reactive to it. They neither like it nor dislike it. They are indifferent to it. And unfortunately, I have to say that sometimes, not most of the time, but sometimes, I experience such moments when I have to say a few words about someone's work. Last time when I encountered absolutely amazing production was Beat This with raw guitar theme, and I got a chance to listen to Beat on Time by Desire Beats. When I heard it, my reaction was like the one I've just described. And this time with Beat by Yanfer, I have the same feelings. Also in Warzone, when he submitted that Taxi, let's call it Taxi beat, I had the same feelings. Then it brought a lot of nostalgia to me, but this time it made me think. So I'm thankful that you created that beat and that you decided to submit it to this competition. For me, but only for me, you won it. Great job, man, really. Another guy that I wanted to distinguish is Stonelock Prod and his beat Trebrix. Alright. I really liked that vocal. It reminded me of Tech 9 a little bit. That's the same fast rap and style he presents in his songs. And it was different. And generally, when I look at Stonelock Prod's beats, geez, it was quite hard to pronunciate. Stonelock Prod's beats, alright. When I look at his beats, he presents something different. Like, the quality of his productions is still a lottery. Like, sometimes he submits good things, sometimes he submits weaker things, but the thing that is common is the fact that his music is different. Like, he doesn't make typical rap/trap beats, but his music is just different. This time his song suited my taste, and I decided to give him a shout out, so really cool job, man. Next guy on my list is Pop's Beats with his beat Nautilus Flip. Very nice old school beat. I like the sound of snare here a lot. Structure of the beat is good. Those little vocal samples you added fit perfectly to the rest of the instruments. Mix is great. All elements of the beat can be easily heard. It's very decent job. Very similar beat was presented by Desire Beats, who was again on the second place, but congrats to you on that. He also submitted good boom bap production. I like that that appears around 35 seconds mark. Nice low end. We have a lot of extra sounds in the background that make the whole beat more interesting. For example, that wow 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 wow. So something like this at 51 seconds mark. Also, the swing on drums is very hard. I mean, when I heard the drums, I immediately started moving my head. So really cool job, man. I like it. I've got nothing more to add. I also wanted to. I would also like to put. Sorry. Sorry. Can't keep still. It's not a reference to anything. All right. It's just a normal cough. You know. I got this sore throat, and this is it. You know. So it's not a reference to any global issue or something. So I also wanted to put Science and Krostevski to the same bag, along with Pop's beats and the Sire beats, because their submissions were very similar to each other. Also, good boom bap beats. Next guy I wanted to talk about is Krog85, who again presented dope trap banger with all elements of his style. Again, we have powerful 808 that takes over the mix, but at the same time it leaves space for other instruments. I like the melody here a lot. Overall, big thumb up for you. Another producer I would like to include here is Osmosis, with a very smooth beat titled Shout Out Ohio. Very original chops, nice mix, drums are on point. I like that beat a lot. Really cool job. Last guys I wanted to say something about our Two Good Productions and Soy Boogie. And they are going to end commentary part of this podcast, and after that we are going to move to the Q&A session. Both guys put vocals on their beats, like full verses. I wanted to say that Two Good Productions is currently working on his mixtape with remixes of famous old school songs. I don't know the title of it yet, but from what I know it will be probably mixed by Fade. So it was expected that he would put full verses on his beat. In both cases, Sway Boogie and Two Good Productions did a really good job, and both productions vocals fit perfectly to the beat they created. Maybe in a song produced by Sway Boogie titled The Come Up Remix Nautilus Flip, vocal is slightly muffled, like slightly hidden, a little bit too quiet in my opinion, but this is just one thing I didn't like about it. As I said, overall both tracks are dope, and in both cases producers knew what they were doing. So I think they well deserved their praise and runner-ups. Alright, let me take a sip of coffee. Alright, so now we're moving to the Q&A session. I gotta say that in this case I'm not going to use any script, because usually when I comment battles I prepare script in order to avoid any ums or ems, just keep things going, you know, flowing. But when it comes to Q&A I'm not going to do it. I haven't prepared any answers before, so I'm going to answer all the questions I received now. In my opinion, it's going to be much more natural. So basically, I received 7 questions from 3 members of our community. I'm going to start from those of them that require the shortest answers, and I will be gradually moved to those that require longer ones. I'm going to start from question by Krostevski. What's your favorite VST instrument? Nexus, hands down Nexus. What's your favorite VST effect plugin? I don't use any fancy plugins. Like it can be surprising for a lot of you guys, because I remember when Papa's Beats sent me a question and he asked what plugins do you recommend me for better mixing, and I replied that, you know, honestly speaking, I have nothing to, I can't give you any advice really, because I use very simple things, like I need only 5 plugins to make beats, and that's it, because most of the time my mixing is based on right sound selection, right arrangement, and basically if I hear something, and my experience, all right, like if something sounds good to me, I know that there is a very high probability that people are going to like it. Like, you know, I've listened to a lot of things so far in my life, so I kind of know what sounds good, what fits well, and what doesn't, you know, and then I think it's a normal thing. So I don't use any fancy effects plugins. All I need is basically Fruity Parametric Equalizer 2, so stock plugin from FL Studio, Maximus for multiband compression, also stock plugin from FL Studio, Fruity Limiter to limit things, Fruity Blood Overdrive to spice things up, Fruity Reverb 2, and Fruity Filter. And so basically I use only stock, most of the time I use only stock plugins from FL Studio. Nothing, I don't need like anything else. Sometimes I use the thing that I won in Battle That in 2018 when I was third. And I won Nectar Elements from Isotope, and sometimes I use it, but it happens very rarely. Next question. What do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for breakfast? I love such questions because they give me a chance to actually say something more about other things. Not only about beats or beat battles or music in general, but something about like casual life. So basically, usually I don't eat nothing. I don't eat anything fancy. Usually I have mostly with milk, or sandwiches. Recently I have to monitor and have to pay more attention to what I eat, due to the fact that I've had quite a lot of issues with my digestive system recently. I have to take medications that regulate the work of my intestines and my liver. So I had to reduce the amount of meat I eat, and I have to eat more fruits, vegetables, and more like healthy things. But for breakfast, it would be mostly with milk or just sandwiches with ham, cheese, or some cucumber, and that's it. I don't eat caviar, so that's for sure. I don't like caviar. I've eaten it once and it's not my cup of tea, really. Next question. Who is your favorite producer of all time? I don't have one. I would have to divide. I'm going to divide my answer into 3 branches. Alright, to old school producers, trap producers, and EDM producers, because I'm also into EDM. So when it comes to old school, it will be definitely Ninth Wonder, because I wrote about him in my article 5 artists that changed my life and perspective when it comes to music. So Ninth Wonder for sure, DJ Premier, Dr. Dre a little bit, but I'm not a big fan of his productions. Who else from old school? These 3 guys come to my mind when it comes to old school producers that I was inspired by. There was also a Greek producer that comes from Greek. I don't know whether he's greatest of all time, because he's not known you know, he's like, he's not famous or something, but I really enjoy his beats. You can check him if you want. His nickname is Chop Juggler. Very good old school instrumentals. I think that's it from old school producers. Ninth Wonder, DJ Premier, and Dr. Dre, and maybe Havoc, also on the fourth place. When it comes to new school and slash trap producers, it's going to be more of them. Definitely Lex Luger, because he was the first producer that produced trap I was listening to. So Lex Luger, definitely, like the godfather of like the creator of trap music. Like, I know that trap music dates back to 90s, and Lex Luger was definitely not the first guy who was making trap, because there was Shorty Red, and there were like rappers and producers from Memphis in the 90s who were creating trap in the underground. There's a very good documentary on YouTube made by, I forgot the name of it, but I recommend watching it. It was like something about Memphis rap, and he points out that trap dates back to 90s. But Lex Luger is like known as the first guy who like shaped the sound of trap. Like, he formulated it in some way. So let's say definitely Lex Luger, definitely Southside from 808 Mafia, definitely TM88 from 808 Mafia, Justice League, the German production group The Crates, by whom I recently inspired. I'm not sure whether they come from Germany, but they produce beats for the best German rappers. So The Crates, I recommend checking them, because their instrumentals are very, very good. Definitely Hopex, definitely Jurgas, definitely Disto. Very good producer, very good producer from Costa Rica, I think, from Costa Rica or Argentina, some country from South America, but I think he's from Costa Rica. So Disto, Hopex, Jurgas, Disto, SDMS, J Code, Beat Smash. And that's it. Now, for trap producers, I think that would be it. When it comes to EDM, definitely Kashmir, and I really look up to this guy, to Kashmir. He's a big inspiration for me. Next we have Skrillex, because he also inspires me in many different ways. Virtual Riot, there's a guy from Germany who actually, like, Skrillex is known as the guy who was the first one to do dubstep, like who commercially conquered charts with his dubstep music. But he's actually not that good. Like, there are lots of producers who make better trap music than Skrillex, but he is recognized as the one with who was the first and the best. But Virtual Riot creates absolutely amazing music, really. I recommend checking him, because he is a beast, like, literally, he is a beast. Next guy from EDM scene. So we have Kashmir, we have Skrillex, we have Virtual Riot. So definitely definitely Martin Garrix, definitely Tiesto, and Brooks with his broken breaks and broken drops. Like really, Brooks is awesome. So these are my favorite producers of all time. Next question. So I've just answered question 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So 3 questions to go. So next question from Fate. In Poland, do you have Polish sausages or is it just sausages? And now prepare yourself for a lecture about sausages, because in Poland it's not so obvious. It's not so obvious thing. You know, according to Google Translate, let me check. Let me open it. According to Google Translate, a sausage in English is a cylindrical length of minced and seasoned pork, beef, or other meat encased in a skin, typically sold raw, to be grilled, boiled, or fried before eaten. And the problem is, in Poland we have many different products, that can fit this definition. So it's not so easy for me to actually answer that question without like dividing my answer again on several parts. Because in Poland, like the typical sausage, I would say, is kiełbasa. All right, kiełbasa is the most common thing. I would categorize as a sausage. I would put in this definition. But there are several types of kiełbasa in Poland. Basically, it depends whether you want to grill them or whether you want to put them on sandwich, or do something else with some other cooking thing with them. But kiełbasa is the common thing, the thing that I would put in this definition. So a cylindrical length of minced and seasoned pork, beef, or other meat encased in the skin. But there are also other types. Some are drier, some are more juicy. All right, and it also depends where do they come from. Because usually when it comes to, for example, names, we also have different features. Because usually names of kiełbasa are brought from the city, from the name of the city in which they are produced. So, for example, we have Krakow, so we have Krakowska. We have Toruń, we have Toruńska, and we have Rzeszów, we have Rzeszowska, and all this stuff. And they differentiate from each other by many different factors. You know, some contains, for example, some of them contain herbs in them. Some of them are drier. Some of them are have more garlic in them. So there are many different types of it. I don't think like we have something like Polish sausage specifically. I haven't seen something like that, like Polish sausage, like polska kiełbasa. Maybe polska kiełbasa. Maybe something like this has been made. I'm not sure about it. But usually it's the name of the sausage is brought from the city in which they are made. The other thing that we have, and that can be also called a sausage in Poland, we have parówka. And parówka is something. It's also meat, but it's encased in a foil, in plastic foil. And usually they are made of tendons, of minced tendons, bones, and meat, and basically they create some kind of mass from it, that they further put in ratios, and they encase them in foil, and they sell them. There are also several types of parówka in Poland, because some of them are of higher quality and some of them are of lower quality. Those of higher quality are usually made of ham, or from very tender meat, not from bones or tendons, but from meat, specifically from meat. And usually the best parówka that you can find in Poland are made for children, because in Poland we have something like Mother and Child Institute, in Polish Instytut Matki i Dziecka, and this is the institution that is responsible for checking many different articles on that you can buy in shops in Poland, and basically they check them whether they are suitable for mothers and children. And if a product receives a certificate of Mother and Child Institute, it means that it's suitable, it's very healthy, it's very nutritious when it comes to it's very nutritious, and it's good for children. Such parówkas are usually much more expensive than the lower quality ones, but if you'd like to buy some of them, I would recommend buying these ones, because they are much healthier. And lower ones are the ones I've just talked about. Like, they are made of different parts of meat, like, as I said, bones, tendons, and they contain less meat in them, more chemicals, more like special ingredients, extras, and they are not good, basically. Next thing that would fit this term sausage in Poland would be frankfurterka. And frankfurterka is a little sausage that is usually boiled. They are tasty, but honestly speaking, I don't like boiled things. Like, I don't like sausages that need to be boiled. So frankfurterka is definitely not my type of thing. And again, at the end of my list, I put an absolute holy grail of food in Poland, like the best thing and my favorite one. Unfortunately, as I said, right now I can't eat it because I have to monitor how much meat I eat. But the absolute holy grail of Polish sausages is kabanos. And kabanos is like, if you eat kabanos, you can die, because really, in my opinion, this is the most tasty sausage you can find in Poland. It's very dry. It can be made of pork. It can be made of poultry. It's not usually it's not made of beef, but man. If you are in Poland and if you find Polish food, like shop with Polish food in your vicinity, you have to taste it. And you know, there are a lot of Polish shops in the UK and in the US, so you can go there and buy kabanos, and if you taste it, you will fall in love with it. Really, absolutely amazing food, really. So this is these are types of Polish sausages. You know, this was lecture about Polish sausages brought to you by Memento Beats. But very interesting question, really. I didn't expect that someone would ask about such thing. Obama, what do you think of the current state of music, but not in an everything sucks view? Let me take a sip of coffee before I answer it. It wouldn't be an everything sucks view. Again, I would have to divide my response into two different parts. And I think the best way to do it will be to talk about pros and cons of today, of current state of music. Like, definitely pros, something that I would categorize as pros is the fact that almost everybody has the same access to music. Like, everybody can create it, everybody can internet changed everything, and nowadays you don't have to have an access to like high quality studio full of expensive mixers, expensive amplifiers, compressors, and all this stuff. Now you can have a 14-year-old kid creating a massive dance hit on his laptop. Like, everything is digitalized, everything is portable, let's so to speak, because literally all you need now is just laptop headphones. It's like Skrillex said, all I need is my laptop, my headphones, and I'm good to go. This is the definitely it's a good thing. That also the fact that you can collaborate with many different people from around the world and create music from them. You can get feedback from them as on IllMuzik. You can get feedback from the guy who lives like 7,000 kilometers away from you. And you can become friends with him. Also, the fact that, as I said, everything became digitalized is a good thing for me, because you can have symphonic orchestra within your laptop or your PC. So it's a good thing, man. And what else? What would be the pro? What would be the good, another good thing in this case? Like, I think the quality, like technically the quality of music improved, in my opinion. Like, if you listen to old songs, they sound, in most cases, they sound worse than today's music. I know it can be controversial statement, I'm saying, but it's the sound became much more polished, and definitely sound developed over the years. Like, many different things were introduced in music. Like, the fact that now we have tens or hundreds of different synthesizers and VSTs and all this stuff enable the potential music creator to come up with new things. All right. Back in the day, it was limited. All right, people mostly based their music on like average instruments, like guitars, basses, drums, vocals, some keys, and then that was it. Nowadays it's much more like, you can create more. All right, you can play with sound is in more like you can have more options to play with your sound, and to shape your sound. That's just my opinion. As I said, you can disagree or agree with it. But when it comes to bad things about the current state of music, I would say that everything sounds the same. Despite the fact that I've just said that you have many different ways of shaping your sound, most of the time everything sounds the same. People the same access to the same tools give people the chance to express their musical feelings and to create music, but it also hinder the quality of music. A lot of people now create music, and market gets a little bit oversaturated by new things. And as I said, if you turn on the radio, everything sounds the same. It's the same old story. All right. So very interesting one, really. I would have to think about it for a longer time. So yeah, I think that would be it. That pros would be it's a good thing that everybody has the same access to music tools. But the fact that everybody has the same access to music tools is can be also hindering. Also, I think that when it comes to cons of the current state of music, is the fact that the quality of lyrics definitely got worse. Back in the day, there are memes with Queen and Justin Bieber, and for example, you have Bohemian Rhapsody was written only by Freddie Mercury, and he created some sort of mini rock opera. He wrote a poem, literally a poem. And very progressive, and he wrote a very progressive song. He was talented, and a very talented singer, and he managed to write the whole Bohemian Rhapsody himself. But on the other hand, you have Justin Bieber's Baby, and there is a baby, oh baby, yeah. And 5 people were responsible for creating that track, so it's hilarious, really. Also, I would say that today music is a little bit monothematical. There are not so many artists who make something different. So yeah, I think that would be it. That would be my answer to your question. And last question from Grostevsky, and very also difficult to answer, is: do you see yourself as professional music producer in the future? Music production your only source of income? Let me get it in this point. I'm turning 25 in the next 2 days. All right, because I was born on the 10th June 1995, and for the first time in my life, I'm feeling weird. Literally, I was writing with Too Good Productions on Messenger, and I told him that for the first time, and I've never paid attention to birthday, but for the first time in my life, I'm feeling weird. I have many different questions in my mind. Have I done something important in my life, or have I, or should I have done more, or should I have done this, should I have done that? Am I going in the right direction? So it's quite difficult, really. It's I'm at quite difficult position in my life, because I told myself at the beginning of this year that I'm giving myself 2 years, 2 more years. Like, for example, so if something doesn't happen until 2022, then I don't know. Probably I will stop for some period of time. I don't know, but there is in every producer and in every artist, for that matter, is the fire that encourages him to create new things, to develop himself, and to pursue his dreams. And I don't think that it applies only to artists, but and to people in general. If you lose that fire, and you become burnt out, it's much harder to actually keep it going. And unfortunately, as let's call it music producer, all right. Let's put it in quotation. As a music producer, I've experienced many different situations in which I received some offers of collaboration, and nothing resulted from it, and it's the same old story, all the time. Like, we're gonna have a team, we're gonna conquer the world, we're gonna split the income between two of us, and everything is going to be like full of unicorns and fairy tales and all this stuff, and full of rainbows, and it will be so beautiful and all this stuff. When I was younger, when I was 20 or 21, I believed that. I agreed to some like covenants with my friends or something like this, that we will have that team together, but nothing happened. Nothing changed. Nothing has changed, and every time, after a few, it's like with relationships, with people in general. The more time you get cheated on, or for example you are tricked by someone, or you are disappointed by someone, you are more like reserved, and you are more hardened. Your skin hardens. So basically, I remember a situation, because in 2020, like 2020 is a special year for me, because I have never had a year in which I received so many like collaboration offers. Like I released an album with Two Good Productions, which I'm very happy with, and also I had a collaboration with Sacred Daily, and also with other rappers that I met on IllMuzik. But I remember a conversation I had with a girl from Germany who has been living in Poland for about 19 years. She came to Poland when she was 7 years old or 6 years old. And she's able to speak perfectly Polish perfectly, without accent, without anything. And she sent me a message on basically to my Facebook fan page, and asked me for collaboration. She described herself that she sings, and she needs a producer. And she told me that, you know, I know that you have proper skills. I like your style. I like I like your music and all this stuff. And would you like to work with me? And first of all, I didn't know how what kind of thing she thinks she was expecting from me. Like she told me that she wanted to create covers and remixes of German songs, and for me it wasn't German pop and rap songs, and for me it was quite like when I heard covers, it was like covers, you know, and I'm looking for artists, who would like to create their own stuff. So I wasn't very willing to do it at that point. But she kept, you know, describing her vision, you know, and that she would like to create a team with me. You know, so again we have the same old song, the same old story, you know, about partnership, about creating a team that will conquer the world, blah 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 blah. You know, and I was like sitting next to her, and I was smiling at her, and I replied, you know, it's all right. You know, we can do it, maybe, you know. And she was like, but you know, you don't look much convinced. You know, you don't look you would want to do it, or for example that you don't look committed to it, you know. And I replied, because, you know, I'm at the point when I've had some collaborations with other people, and I got disappointed by them, you know, and I know that it's not so obvious and it's not so beautiful as it seems to be. So right now I have much bigger distance to offers I receive, and I really need to process them before I agree to do anything. So also when it comes to being a professional musician, it doesn't even mean a professional music producer, but professional musician. It's not so easy, especially in my country. I remember when I was 17, I was on the wedding of my aunt, because my aunt was getting married, and at that wedding party there was a friend of her who was a professional opera singer. He was singing in Silesian opera, like in Opera Śląska, a very prestigious place in Poland when it comes to classical music. This guy was bass, and basically at that point I didn't even think that I would be making beats one day. Really, I was solely focused on guitar, and basically when I got to know that he was an opera singer, I started asking him many questions, you know, because I approached him and I told him, you know, I would like to be a professional guitarist one day, you know. And he asked me, so you'd like to become a professional musician? And I replied, yeah, I do. Yeah, I'd like to. And he was like, ooh, so you have very, very hard journey ahead of you. And at that point, I didn't understand him, you know. I was like, he must be joking or something. He's trying to discourage me, because, you know, I'm going to have a band. I'm going to play gigs all over the world, you know, or also in Poland. You know, I will have many girls and all this stuff. I will have a beautiful house, etc., etc., etc. You know, I was living in that fairy tale I created in my mind, you know. But after a few years, like 8 years, 8 years after that wedding party, it turned out that it's not so obvious and it's not so simple to actually create something that because actually if you look at IllMuzik, let's say, a lot of people on IllMuzik, a lot of members of our community have proper skills to actually be successful and to make a living out of it. And I'm like 100% sure about it. Many of us have skills and enough creativity to actually make a living of making music. But it's not so simple. I noticed that in music it's a matter of proper connections, of meeting proper people at the right time, meeting right people at the right time, being in the right place at the right time. Also, when it comes to become a successful musician in Poland, it would mean like I would have to move to some place, some other place in Poland, like to Warsaw, let's say, to the capital of Poland. And it's also not simple because people from Warsaw are not very friendly, and people from Warsaw think of themselves like they are the elite, they are superior than than people from other parts of Poland, and it's quite hard to actually make connections with them. Because they think that like they live above, they are above everyone else. So it also depends on the country where you're from. It's like many different factors are responsible for becoming a professional music producer that would be able to afford a living out of music production. Like music production would be my only source of income. Like it's a very hard thing to do. I would rather see myself as some kind of when it comes to music career, I think that much better thing would be to join some band, because I also, as I said, I play the guitar and I also sing. To play some band that plays at some like events, like weddings, wedding parties or something like this. And I also thought about it. But will I become the professional music producer in the future? I am not able to tell you. Really, as I said, for now I'm giving myself two more years, and if nothing happens, if nothing changes, then I don't know. Then I would have to think about it. I would rethink the sense of it, because I realize that I'm getting older, and basically I realize that in 2 years' time I will be at the point when, for example, children might get in the way. My children, I might have children in the future. I might want to like create my own family, my own house and all this stuff. So when you have to think about other people, like your wife or your girlfriend or your children or something like this, it gets more difficult. And right now I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not ready to actually commit myself to. I'm not ready to give the proper amount of time to the child, right? Because I would like to spend my time on fulfilling my dreams before I commit myself to fulfilling dreams by my children. But I have to say that, you know, I'm a very ambitious person, and I would like to have my own company in the future. But looking at my current experience, it will be probably some. It will not be like anything connected with music. You know, it's sad, but I think that it will be something different. You know, like it will be either something associated with selling, because I was a salesman for 10 months. I was good at it. I was teaching people how to sell things. I was working in door-to-door type of sale, very, very hard one. So I also have experience in customer support. I also have experience in merchant support, because I was also supporting companies with their issues. So I think it will be some kind of like online shop thing or something like that. You know, the older I get, the that perspective of becoming a musician like fades away. You know, it's it's like you're trying. It's like you try to catch smoke, you know, with the bare hands. You know, you catch it, but you know, it flies away. So very hard thing to do. Very tough question. It made me think a lot about many things, and it's another question that I have now in my mind, you know, before my birthday, my 25th birthday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that I didn't bore you to death with my long replies. And I would like to thank you all for all the questions you posted. It's a very nice feeling to have the opportunity to reply to your questions. And that's it. You know, that's it for today, folks. Thanks for listening. If you like it, don't forget to smash the like button below, click subscribe, and hit the bell notification in order to stay tuned with the latest updates, with the latest videos that are uploaded to IllMuzik channel. Also join the community, because I need fresh blood to review, really. If you haven't already joined IllMuzik, please do it. You will receive a lot of great feedback, a lot of opportunities that will help you develop yourself as a musician, not only about as a music producer, but as a musician. So please do it. Also, please subscribe to my channel, Memento Beats Official, on Facebook, and on YouTube, and also on Facebook, to support my work. And yeah, that will be it. Thanks for listening. Till the next time.